All right. We have landed. Day 2, Primal Goddess Activation Challenge. I'm pretty excited about today uh, and the challenge. So, as most of you know, I am a coach and guide helping women become free, specifically relationships, sexuality, spirituality. So, it is our honor to do this during the fall equinox to help embrace the change of season and coming home to this honoring of the divine feminine that is lost in our culture. And we might share about that a little bit today. I thought after we talked about one of our favorite things, we could go into some of the breaking the cultural conditioning and the wounds that are in our culture. If you want, we'll see where it goes. All right, so do you want to share what today's challenge is?
Getting naked.
Yeah, woo! Naked! Naked! What's more primal than getting naked? Yes. Haha.
I love getting naked.
I love getting naked too. Why do you love it?
Uh, I don't know. I never have thought about it. I don't know. I guess because it just feels like I'm shedding a layer and being more primal. Yeah, like just free. It's freeing.
It is liberating and freeing to dance naked, to walk in nature naked, to walk around your house naked. It is, and it is. This is why I wanted to talk about maybe some of the cultural conditioning, because of course, in culture, we're not allowed to be walking around naked, right? And that's probably a great thing for a lot of reasons. And it's a great practice to just get naked and enjoy being naked, enjoy being in your body and raw and primal and skin, right? So as I asked you the question, I was thinking, why do I like to be naked? How does that make me feel? I think freedom is really the core. I feel happy. I feel autonomous, maybe. Uh, yeah. What do you feel when you're naked? Take yourself back to being naked because we can't get naked on Zoom or Facebook will kick us off
I know I wanted
or
to.
YouTube.
No, I wasn't wearing clothes before this.
I have one layer I can take off,
Uh,
except for my bangles.
yeah, clothes can be restricting. And you don't even know it. But yeah, I think also that was nice. It gets us in touch with our sensuality, which we are innately sensual beings, especially being women.
Yeah, such a scary power we have to create. This is where
Yeah.
the wounds come in, right?
So empowering, yeah, because
And
when we're all restricted, yeah, we might not feel that same energy of feeling empowered.
yeah, so for me, it was interesting. I had this really deep meditation on Tuesday where I started off dressed and dancing, and I ended up not dressed and gyrating a lot. And I gave myself 3 energetic orgasms, like all the way up through my body. It was right here. I was standing right here in front of my altar, just like, doing my thing. And I did end up taking my clothes off and I was breathing as the goddess. And I think today that will be my practice is to be naked, probably on the back porch, and breathe as the goddess in my primal flesh nudity. And I'm sure it'll end up turning into like a worship ceremony or something for me. But that's what I'm going to do for the challenge. What are your plans? Can you go in nature? Because you have a little more freedom to be outside and naked than I do.
Yeah, I mean, I go out in my yard, but I don't know if people can see me sometimes, but I have a privacy fence. I don't live in nature. I live in town, but I have a privacy fence, and then with the trees and stuff, nobody could really see me unless they're looking. So I don't know. I'll probably that would be the easiest thing. Like otherwise I'd have to make a really big effort to like
Drive
go
somewhere.
somewhere.
Yeah.
I love the idea of swimming somewhere,
Swimming naked.
like doing a plunge. I mean, it's not that cold here, but it's pretty cold to get in. I mean, it's cold outside, so then getting in the river or the lake would be chilly. So
Do
I
you
think
have time and
that'd be
space?
edgy, you
Yeah.
know?
Do you have time and space to do a nude plunge?
Um,
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah. And I have done that. I just had this flashback of when I went for a walk with my dogs once and it was really hot and I just stripped down and the creek wasn't not like super deep. And there were people like definitely that could have come, because but it was like a little bit private, so it was like super quick. So I'd rather have it be a little less like,
Rushed.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's exciting.
I'll have
Yeah.
to think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so if anyone's joining us now, please say hi in the comments and the chat. If you're watching this later, you can do hashtag replay and then let us know what your naked plans are. Because,
Yeah, and as we were talking, I was thinking like we're both really comfortable with this, so it might be a little edgy for some people that are not as comfortable.
oh, it's totally edgy. That's why getting naked, you could just do that in your house, like in your room with the door shut. That,
Dancing, yeah, and you could dance in your room in your house.
or we could do naked meditation, breathing as the goddess. Any of these would be starting to connect to that primal activation energy, right? So, yeah. Our culture has some pretty interesting conditioning. And so, like, one of the, the different things, we were talking about this yesterday too, a little bit, but like how the culture, like, there's stories and conditionings and things that we all, not all, but a lot of us will agree about because they've been placed. And a lot of it's also unconscious. Like, this, I thought it really impacted me yesterday when you shared how drinking is an inauthentic way to connect with people. It's not really authentic relating. That really sat with me for a while. I really appreciate you sharing that. And we're also conditioned by society to like think that's how you have a great time and connect with people, right? Through media and
Did
ads.
you share that video already?
I have not shared that video yet.
Okay.
I will after
We
this.
made a video about my sobriety, so if you guys want to check that out, I'm sure Nee will post it somewhere on YouTube.
Yes, I will. Yeah, it's ready. I just wanted to make sure I have the correct book links and stuff that we referenced. So, what were the other social or yeah, cultural conditioning things that you mentioned? I thought there was another one.
Um, it's relaxing, it's good for stress, it's good for socializing.
All right, the lies about drinking.
Yeah, this is obviously not true. Reduces, yeah, anxiety, which it doesn't.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's an interesting one, and I think that there's a lot of different like wounds and things that we're healing on the planet right now. Like I feel it in real time, especially with language evolution, where I'm like, oh, there's a nicer way, there's a more compassionate way to communicate. Um, in yesterday's class, I learned about how all of these things that we think are feelings that are non feelings, and that the feeling is actually something else. So, like betrayal, if you said, I feel betrayed, that's not really a feeling in NVC. That would be, I feel, disappointed and frustrated and sad. So, one of the homework
Can you
assignments,
say really quick what NVC is? I don't everyone.
nonviolent communication.
Yeah.
Yeah, nonviolent communication, which a lot of people now call compassionate communication, just to take the violence out. But yeah, it's the homework is to say when I felt betrayed, what I was when I thought when I was thinking that I was betrayed, what I actually felt was. So it's going back and looking at what you're thinking, the stories that you're telling around your interactions with people, and breaking down those stories, because those are thoughts, those are assumptions, those are judgments, those are criticisms, those are not things that help with intimate relating. And so I feel like all the wounds are a lot like this, like the prostitution wound. That's like men always paying for everything. That's like a really subtle thing that happens all the time, and I've made an effort to try to split bills and do things to really release that wound, because it basically means you have no freedom. Like it's taking away freedom, especially if you're living with someone and totally financially dependent on them. Then there's little things at play that are happening in the subconscious mind layer. So that one's pretty interesting. I think another one that just makes me so sad is the religious wound of like your sexuality is evil or bad instead of being pure and holy, which is what it is. Like it's great to be sensual. And that's why I'm really excited about this challenge, because you're right. When we're naked, like sexuality might come out, right? We might start to feel a little sensual or erotic. And I think that's beautiful and something that needs to be celebrated and embraced. And it helps heal that religious wound of like, you know, these women being evil because they were sexual and called whores and all these things. So there's also that feeling disconnected from source or from God because he's portrayed as masculine. That would also be a religious wound. And we're really healing that wound a lot in the Goddess Book Club right now by embracing this book, breathing as the goddess, as the divine energy that is Shakti, which is this, I know, I like it. We're matching. Um, it's the flow, it's the creative force of everything. So if Shiva is the ground of being, or the masculine in you and in me, and is the ground of being, that energy, then Shiva or Shakti is that creative energy that actually does everything. Right? So having this beautiful balance within us comes, I think, from embracing God as male and female, right? And having this journey. What do you think? I said this a lot.
Well, I am really excited about this book because it's a whole new way of looking at divinity for me. As I mentioned yesterday, I grew up Christian. I think I mentioned that on one of the calls. We've done so many calls lately.
I know, so fun.
Which is very masculine, everything in it, priests, women can't be priests, women can't be clergy for the most part. So it's very, for me as a woman or as a little girl, it was unrelatable. Like I
Mm-hmm.
started questioning that early in my childhood. So I'm very excited to kind of shift into something that aligns more with my beliefs, because I know a little bit about this stuff, but most of it is not something I could, explain to someone in an easy way right now. But I would love to adopt it more um as my belief system and be able to stand behind it and explain it. It like a lot of this book is about like the psyche, like the goddesses are not like real, they're more of energetic, and they're also part of like, she makes an analogy a lot about like how they're in your psyche and you can tap into these different characteristics or character traits when you need them in your life. And I think that is a very good tool to have, because it's just knowledge, right? It's knowledge and wisdom of, I have this conflict and I need to call in this goddess's energy. It's not like you're it's just, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to explain it, but
Yeah, no, I think you're doing a great job. And also, the more that we talk about it and try to explain it, the better we get at it. So it's good. It's good practice. And I would say for sure I started embracing Kali in like 2014, 15. And that was really just asking for her energy and bringing her energy into my life to like destroy the ego, right? To get rid of the illusion, destroy the illusion, right? And I would say that that has definitely been a huge positive impact on me. Not always the easiest journey, destroying egos and illusion. But I definitely feel her presence. And now when I do like my little hissy thing that comes over me sometimes, it feels like Kali. It feels like this righteous rage of, I don't know. It's just really interesting. So yes, this is what we do in the book club, and we're embracing the goddesses' energies as we need them. And like one is the devoted wife and mother, right? It doesn't have to be. I realize my path is a little different than most people, right? This devoted wife and mother is one of the goddesses. We have Durga, the warrior goddess, right? So we have all these different energies that we're going to be exploring the next 2 months, which is really exciting. And it also, in the Goddess Book Club, it can take us back to another wound, which is the sister wound. And this is the mindset of being in competition with women instead of collaborating with them. And it comes from past generations where we needed to secure a man so that we had rights, so we had financial security and safety. And that's outdated now. So there's no reason for women to not come together and collaborate and co-create and remember the ancient wisdom of women gathering, which we do in the book club. So that's healing that wound in real time every week. If you want to speak to that.
Um, yeah, well, it just kind of listening to you helped me think of like why I'm excited about this book is because I have like I'm so aware of a lot of these social conditioning things, but a lot of times I'm just aware of them and I'm frustrated. So I
Mm,
think this is an opportunity to have some tools and to tap into some practices and some like different ways of moving past them. Things that I feel like are restricting because of our culture.
yeah.
Yeah, we could read a few of these. I'm just looking at the table of contents. So the first goddess is Durga, the goddess of protection and inner strength, or warrior goddess. I love that. Lakshmi is the goddess of abundance and good fortune. Kali is the goddess of revolution. Parvati is the goddess of sacred marriage. Saraswati is a goddess who flows as language, insight, and sound. Sita is the goddess of devotion and mystical submission. Dhumavati is the crone goddess of disappointment and letting go. And Radha is the goddess of romantic longing. There's a bunch more. I'm not gonna. Or
Yeah. You don't have to read them all. That's good. Uh,
anyway, you can see how those just in reading those might help you. Like, oh, I feel like right now I'm really struggling with my finances. Well, there's a whole chapter about a goddess that's like about abundance and tapping into that.
and I think embracing them also moves away from anxiety or aloneness or stuckness because it is a spiritual path and practice. And so it's like allowing the mind layer to drop, and that's where all our anxiety is like swirling, right? And kind of focusing more on this spiritual path or embracing this goddess's energy is going to nurture your spirit and your nervous system. At least that's what I have found in my experience. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, which is why I follow Neve and am in her groups is it's all about spirituality.
Aw, thanks. Yeah, I can't really take the spiritual out of the Neve.
No.
It doesn't really work. I try sometimes, like when I go out socially, it doesn't really work. uh, yeah, I don't know. So getting naked. Should we talk about any more cultural conditionings or anything else? I feel like we covered a lot. I mean, do you have any like closing thoughts or anything else that is on your heart to share?
No, not really. Just I'd be
Incomplete.
interested to hear from the rest of the community about how they feel about it and what it brings up.
Yeah, and we are doing this deep work uh, every week. So we have the Goddess Book Club, and then we're also about to do a cleanse. So if you want to join us and get a taste of hanging out with us and see if you like it, the cleanse is a good way to do that. And cleansing can be very gentle. We shared a video about it earlier. It doesn't have to be a crazy cleanse, like going super deep, and it can be. So that's really up to you. But yeah,
I
if you,
did want to add one more thing. I posted couple pictures right before this call because I couldn't figure out what to do for our challenge yesterday, but then I realized that I did our challenge because I was installing rocks into my yard for a rock walkway that we had collected in nature. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to share that I was proud of myself because they were really big rocks and like really hard to move, and I thought that was appropriate for connecting with nature in a primal way.
yeah, primal goddess energy, warrior goddess, primal warrior goddess, like lifting rocks, and yeah,
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, I collected some stuff with Tanzan, and then we made a little fairy home, and I have a couple things that I want to add to the altar. Like I added an apple, so
I love that idea.
yeah, I added an apple because they're in season. I don't really know the pomegranates here. Some the white pomegranates are in season. I would love to have a pomegranate on the altar because all those seeds, pomegranates and aphrodisiac, and ooh yeah, I like that energy of lots of seeds. I don't know, call me sensual or something.
Well, it's really cool to find food in nature.
Yeah, and I like here there's grapefruits and there's lemons and there's limes and there's pomegranates. There's a bunch of things that were not where I used to live, so it's kind of fun.
If you do have edible, or know what you can eat, I would encourage you. I mean, this is more of tomorrow's challenge we can talk about, but trying things and seeing how that feels because it's a different experience than taking something from the grocery store and eating it.
Oh my gosh. Even just the food that you grow on your own or from the farmer's market or for someone else's garden is just tastes so different than the food at the store. So yeah, that's a very powerful practice. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
we should definitely dive into that tomorrow with the
Yeah,
senses.
yeah, we definitely can. Yeah. So we won't get ahead of ourselves. We'll let you guys go. Thank you for being here. Please comment. Let us know what you thought. What landed for you? What's alive? Are you getting naked? Come on. You know you want
Yeah, and if it's like a new thing or if it's a little uncomfortable, I guess me and Neve are really comfortable with it.
yeah, if it is challenging, just do the meditation again today and breathe as the goddess because that is an activation. And when I'm talking about activation, I'm talking about a spiritual, like transmission, download, intuitive hit, activated, right? And you have the power to do that to yourself. And I also recorded the meditation, so it's nice. You can just press play and listen to it. Uh, yeah, if you want to talk to me about the cleanse or the Goddess Book Club or anything we're doing, just you can hop on my calendar, comment, or send me a message. All right.
Thank you.
I love you. Thank you. I'll see you in a little while.